Welcome in. Today is Monday, May 12th. We are still saying thank you to our mothers for birthing us, and we'll check in with the Colorado Rockies, who found a way to lose by 3 touchdowns this week. And Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland rocks. Not only do they not rock, I think Cleveland sucks. We'll find out why. Also, the Pope is an American. What are we doing?
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots.
This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in to Sports Idiot Nation, the weekly recap show that comes to you not once but twice a week, every Monday and Thursday. Today is Monday, so we are coming to you to again say thank you to the mothers, and joined by Mr. T.I., of course. T.I., what'd you do for Mother's Day yesterday?
Oh, man, I cleaned out the barn.
She's been asking you for 8 months, right?
8 months, maybe a little longer, maybe twice as longer. Yeah, it's clean. Can't see it, and I'm actually going to move all of this down a little bit. I'm going to go and get me a nice little remote control LED light. Play with some colors in here, might put a stripper pole, might put a disco ball, it comes down. I probably won't do those last two things, but I mean, would be pretty cool though, right?
You can still play some Genuine no matter what you do. So I don't know if the new Pope would approve. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
He is American. First time ever from Chicago. I don't know.
He may have not ever been to a strip club, but he has seen a stripper pole. You show me a person who hasn't seen a stripper pole, and I'll show you a liar.
I think of, since he's an American and he's got like regular brothers, like he has siblings who are just like regular people, and it's like you just like think of when that kid was in school, and if he ever said like a nasty comment to a kid or ever did I mean, he's human, so he obviously has done something wrong in his life. And it's like, can you imagine being wronged by the Pope? Like, that guy's Pope. That guy was a jerk in 6th grade.
I mean, what do his brothers do? Like, what are their conversations around the Thanksgiving? So how's work lately, Pope?
And do they have to call him like, your Highness, your Holiness now? Do they?
I'd rather not talk about work.
Yeah, I leave work at home.
It's like, well,
you leave work at work.
It's like, well, I sell insurance, but you are the Pope. I would like to ask you some questions about your jobs. You're my brother's Thanksgiving, but the Pope, it's just nobody wants to talk about work,
Yeah.
Wants to talk about work. So the Pope's supposed to talk about baseball. We all saw that video. We all saw that video of the Pope. But it's just the whole thing's kind of weird to me. I'm not very religious. I respect people's religions, but I'm just not very religious myself. I've been to all kind of churches. I've tried them out. I'm just like, maybe it ain't for me. But with that being said, I just don't understand like how you rise up in the ranks to popism. Like, you start out as a rookie, you don't get it. You're not a rookie. Like, you gotta like earn the respect of the ranks and your peers, your constituents. Like, it's not like politics where you're just like starting out as like some, working on somebody's campaign, and then you shake some hands. Next thing you know, you're, maybe like, oh, maybe I should run for some kind of local office, and 20 years later, you're at the Senate. Next thing you know, you're running for president. All right, that's not how the Pope works, right? I mean,
was he a first round pick?
Like, was he a first round Pope? Was he a first round Pope? So anyway, shout out to the Pope. If hell exists, we're probably already en route to there for being comical about the Pope. But if there is one group of individuals who can take a joke, I feel like it is the Catholic religion.
It is.
So,
yes, 100%.
So shout out to Leo. Shout out to Leo the Lion there. Hopefully, like a lot of his fellow people, he's not lying a lot. Hopefully we get a lot of truth from that man.
Well, and
So-
hopefully the White Sox can do a better job. The minute that he was announced Pope, I believe they went on to lose 10-0. So hopefully, he's a Southsider, so White Sox. And another reason to stay tuned to social media, all things Sports Idiot Nation, we posted on our very own channels the video that came up that was viral of our now Pope at the World Series, just taking in a game in Chicago. Like,
chilling.
just chilling, eating a hot dog, rooting for the Chicago.
What if he was like chugging a beer, and then he's realized he's on camera and he's like, oh, and then they give him another, and he's like, oh.
And was he only Cardinal then? Was he just Bob? Like, was he just?
He was working up the ranks, man. He was,
Yeah.
That's what it does. You got to work up the ranks of popism. So
he always had potential to be that first round pick.
Somebody that is not working up the ranks are the Colorado Rockies. Although they did, where were we at last time we checked on them? 6 wins.
So yeah, the meter was up to 6.
I can still count.
We
still count how many wins they have,
and it is up by 1.
Ooh, do we have a bell? Do we have a bell sound effect? Ding, 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 and you can put like a one flash. The 6 turns to a 7. Ting. Yeah, we need that.
So
graphics
7
team.
wins.
We need
7.
a graphics team.
Although they did lose by, I think it was exactly 3 touchdowns a couple days ago.
Yeah, Padres pulled their starting QB. But I mean, they didn't score any more points, so their backup concerns me a little bit.
That's
his luck in the transfer portal is probably not for him.
The offense kind of hit a snag after the starter went out.
If you can't even produce a field goal against the Rockies,
yeah,
I don't think you are next level material. But shout out to the Colorado Rockies, who in 1 week won 1 game, and if they were a football team, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be a good streak to go off of.
To go from 6 to 7 wins in 1 week would be great if they were a football team, but they're not a football team; they're a baseball team.
Speaking of streaking, we got a couple streaks to talk about. They affect both of our teams. So in the American League, the hottest team is the Minnesota Twins, who
Twins
8 wins in a row, including a sweep of my beloved Giants. I watched all the games. I'm like, oh gosh, they didn't play that poorly, but the Twins are just
breaks my heart because I love the Giants.
Exactly.
Fantastic team. I love the Giants.
So the hottest team in baseball in the American League is the Twins, and then moving to the National League is
my team.
There you go.
St. Louis Cardinals. That's right. They were cellar dwellers a week and a half ago, maybe even. But they are on a roll. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They have won 8 in a row. Before that, I think they had won 4 in a row if they lost one. So, I mean, they have been doing quite well. They've figured out the game of baseball. They're 1 game out of the Cubs. But we still have 450 more regular season games to go. So
right. We got 19 months. So
that's
what it feels like.
Yeah,
baseball season feels like 2 years.
Just check back with me because I'm sure Colorado Rockies fans were probably looking forward to this season a few months ago. So they got a long way to go. We should actually start a poll that lives on our page all season. We'll put 3 numbers, above, below, at, what do you think the Colorado Rockies end with?
Right.
The
over under.
Because again, people say that we don't talk about baseball enough, so we have fully embraced the Colorado Rockies this season. We are all Sports Idiot Nation are full on board with the Colorado Rockies, and we will give you in-depth Colorado Rockies coverage week in and week out as they win 1 game a week.
A weekly check-in, if you will, yes.
So for everybody that says we don't talk about baseball, there you go. All right.
We love baseball. Guess what? I just booked my ticket to Detroit May 28th. My Giants play a day game in Detroit, and I'm only 3 hours from the stadium.
Bring your
So
gun.
me and my cousins, and we'll be fully strapped and loaded and ready to go, and go Giants. It will be cool.
Is it Scary Movie 4? Scary Movie 4? Yeah, that's the one where the Zucker, or is it 3? It's 3 where the Zucker brothers take over. Yeah. It's the World of Worlds, right? And it shows the video of Detroit, It's like here's Detroit, and it's like nothing but like crime, all this, and here's it after the attack, and then it's just the same clip with the monsters walking in the background. It's like classic.
So dumb. Yeah,
classic.
so dumb.
Yeah, so bring your Glock to Detroit, man. We need you on the show. I don't know how to work all this stuff.
I'm excited because
I want you live and all too, but I don't know how to work the stuff either. So
right. You need me.
So stay live.
You definitely need me more than I need you. Is that fair?
Don't you go dying on me.
Yeah.
We'll
be good. Maybe I can go live on our Facebook page and interview some Detroit people, or we'll figure something fun to do.
Detroiters. They call themselves the Detroiters. There is a fantastic show called The Detroiters that is very good. You can catch it on Netflix, but it's Tim Robinson before he was doing I Think You Should Leave on SNL, or it's when he was on SNL, I think, as like a writer, but it is fantastic stuff. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, well worth a watch. Anyway.
So, all right, let's shift from baseball to Cleveland, Ohio, where just hours ago, late last night, the
Fighting
Yesers,
Cats. The Fighting Cats.
Yep, the Yesers. That's their new. They changed to the AAU jerseys. They're not the Pacers. They're the Yesers. That is so Midwest. Like Minnesota Nice is like a thing. There's nothing more Midwest than a team calling themselves the Yesers. Like, that is the all-time. You're in the Bible Belt, Midwest, good old boys. Like,
if it was the 90s and they were the Yesers, it would have been even more, because you would have perennially had about 3 white dudes in the lineup always. So, yeah. Which is a recipe usually for failure if you're not the Indiana Pacers.
Right. Hey, if your white guys are Rick Smits, Chris Mullen, those guys, they're pretty decent.
They were.
But, the Pacers, and that's where I want to start, because they're the team that has the commanding 3-1 lead, and it
should be over. It should be a 4-0 sweep. It should have been.
Yeah, they just didn't bring it last game, but it's crazy. It's odd how the season played out, because on this very show, at least 4 months ago, we were kind of like, okay, Cleveland, they're playing some defense. They're, but like, we were never like, chalk it up, Cleveland. One time, not one of us.
It's because the hot team who starts off out the gate is always a team who fades fast. It happens every single season, unless you are Tim Duncan and the Spurs.
Right. If you're an established, okay, that's fair. If you're like the Celtics are established, they've not necessarily because they won last year, but you look at that team, they've been through. They lost to the Warriors in the finals. They lost previously. In they've played a lot of playoff basketball. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, those guys, they've played a lot of playoff basketball together.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They're the 1 seed, but they didn't. They don't have the same.
No, experience outweighs streakiness every day of the week. I mean, that's why we saw in March Madness. That's why we saw all 4 number 1s make the tournament, make the Final Four. Because
who predicted that?
Not me.
Some idiot. Yeah, some idiot.
Not me. Don't even get me started on his Duke Houston prediction. What a moron. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just kind of like, you get out the gate, you get hot, you look good, you got Spider-Man, but not looking good for you. 3-1. 3-1. You really going to bounce these next ones? That's a lot. That's a tough ask.
The Pacers aren't losing. They're not losing 3 straight. They're just not.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna ask this Cavs team to win 3 straight games. Does this Cavs team have LeBron James? I don't think so. This Cavs team does not have LeBron James. I don't think they're going to win 3 in a row. The Pacers are heading on. Still don't know who we're going to get between Boston and New York. It's looking good. Good.
Okay, let's shift to that series because that has been really entertaining.
That should be the conference finals right there.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson is him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's left-handed, lefty swag. Love my lefties. If you look at both those teams, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Porzingis isn't all the way healthy, so he's not getting all the minutes. And then on New York, Bridges, Cat, and Brunson. Out of those 6 guys that I mentioned,
and Randle. Oh no! Randle's the one I'm talking about. Randle with the Wolves. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
Who had his first triple-double? We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So out of those guys I mentioned, which guy, if you could only pick one out of those 6 to move forward to the next round to have on your team? Let's say we know you're a Memphis fan. So if Memphis magically came back to the playoffs and you could pick one of those 6 players, who would you pick for the next round?
Oh man, well that's tough because you're asking you to pick against an established personnel instead of just picking a player. Because in that situation, I would pick like Cat because that's what we would need. We don't need a Brunson because we have Ja and we have.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'll take him.
Does Cat find a way to disappear a little bit sometimes?
Well, yeah, for sure. But I mean,
I'm telling you,
in Memphis, he'd be a superstar. You don't got to do much. All you got to do is get lobs from Ja. That's all you got to do.
What I'm saying is, I'm taking Jalen Brunson, and it's not close.
Sure.
So if you look at Boston first, all right, Porzingis, even if you kind of throw him a little bit of a okay because he's just not healthy and he's not getting the minutes, and that's fair.
Boston's missing out because he gets that revenge. He wants that revenge against New York.
He's still not a guy out of those 6 that I would pick. Now, Tatum and Brown give good arguments. Jaylen Brown, we know, was the NBA Finals. And Jason Tatum, he is a solid number 1. You need that. Ja Morant is a 1, right? But he's not that cold-blooded killer. And Jalen Brunson is a cold-blooded killer.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely. So I would take Jalen Brunson. And I get it. You're like, well, that's Ja's position. I'm just saying I'm not looking at team need. I'm just saying what one guy would help based on his skill set, what he brings to the table. You infuse him in the next round, which guy? And Cat is not a bad choice. I'm just saying, to me, it's one, and then the other 5 are down below, and it's Jalen Brunson.
Totally. But yeah, but Jalen Brunson would be a completely different. Used differently in Memphis than he is in New York. In New York, they're like, hey man, you got free range, do whatever you want. Take the shot, facilitate, do whatever, shoot a half court 3. I don't care. Dude puts up 55 points like it's nothing, I just feel like he'd be used differently. That's my only problem. Now, if you're just trading Ja for Brunson, of course I'd be sad to see Ja go. But if we're just theoretically playing this game, then Brunson's a perfect fit. But if you're starting to try to make him, if you're cutting his minutes, if he's not getting as many minutes, that's going to cut his play. If you're running a different offense, because clearly Memphis is running a completely opposite offense to New York, because New York is knocking on the door of the Eastern Conference Finals, and Memphis is at home watching the Eastern Conference Finals. So
yeah,
but Brunson's awesome. Yeah, he's great. The Dallas Mavericks could use a guy like him. Really could. Really could. Mark Cuban. Mark, I don't know if it's Mark. I don't know if it's whatever the other dude is. I don't know who it is. I don't know who's all to blame. But they've made some bonehead moves lately. I mean,
well, it's not Cuban because he's out.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
as
you're
majority
right.
owner,
Yeah,
he's not calling the shots. He already said he wouldn't have done that with Luka. He wouldn't have if he was.
Yeah.
So it's not on him. Not that he hasn't made boneheaded decisions in his life, but
for sure.
But yeah, Dallas is going to be a weird situation moving forward. Did you see that Klay Thompson admitted that he has second thoughts? Like he kind of alluded to like, yeah, it's tough, and I knew what I had in Golden State. Like, you want to go back with the ex-girlfriend? Like,
of course you did, bro. Yeah, you went to hang out with like a team that's like trading players in mid-season that are superstars, and then when your other player is a flat earther who's not even healthy, he's not even playing again until like February. Yeah, so of course it's a tough situation. He just went over there because I think he just knew that he was going to be the odd man out in Golden State, no matter whatever kind of pay cut he took. He knew he could probably get more money. In Dallas, if he did, and he probably thought it would be worth it. And at the time, on paper, Dallas looked good. We all know, how that worked out. I mean, the Luka trade and then AD coming over. Nobody expected any of that to happen. So he's probably the last person in the world who expected any of that to happen. He's probably thinking, oh, man, I go over here and play with Luka for about 3-4 years. I'm bound to get at least one championship or maybe get to the finals or something. Maybe get to go up against the Warriors in the Western Conference champion or Western Conference Finals, like whatever. But it did not work out that way. Again, they're at home with the couch, especially AD. He's typically on the couch a lot.
Street clothes.
That's right.
He's wearing street clothes wherever he is.
His unibrow always looks good. Yeah, good for him on that. But
it's on point.
But yeah,
okay.
So
another team that is frustrating the crap out of me is Golden State because it's so not fair. Dude, that's so annoying in Minnesota when they do that. Like, oh God, like Minnesota doesn't have anything to show for anything for basketball. Like they had Kevin Garnett, they let him go. They get out of here. If they wouldn't have, they barely beat Golden State 2 nights ago with no Steph, and they had an entire plan. They didn't just lose Steph 8 minutes ago. It was known that they weren't going to have Steph, and you can't game plan better than that. I mean, I have nothing positive to say about Minnesota and your boy Julius Randle because they're overall, I think they're soft. If you barely beat Golden State by like 5 points without Steph Curry, like I think whoever comes out of the Denver, I think Denver's going to end up winning, but I know it's 2-2, but either Denver or the Thunder is beating Minnesota. Why don't you ask your violin about that?
I'm sorry, that's the world's tiniest violin playing its sad song for you, Mr. Warrior fan, who is only down 2-1. Please calm down. Calm down.
I know, but
calm down. You're acting like
we should be up.
Acting like it's 3-1 against
we were
Cavs
up.
Or something. You're acting like it's 3-1 against Cavs.
We were up for 70% of that.
You don't have Steph Curry.
But
he's the common denominator. He makes everything work. Like that's the thing. Like he makes it all work. You don't have Klay Thompson. You don't have these people that typically you don't have DiVincenzo or whatever. He's on the other team.
Yeah.
He's not sitting there going like, "Ooh, remember you guys traded me?" So
it's just frustrating.
But it is. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay because you got like what 4 or 5 championships in the last like 3 years. So
cool. Yeah. Boo hoo. Yeah. Like right is kind of the.
I don't care.
It's just
don't care.
Yeah.
It's breaking up. You're breaking up on me, man. Sorry, prank caller.
Yeah.
But no, man, I feel you. It's not over, man. It's 2-1. Like Warrior. I mean, the Wolves are young, but I mean they've been there. They were there last year. They know what they need to do. They made a good trade. Randall's a good fit, like you said. First triple double, messed around, got a triple double. Freaking brothers every way, like MJ. I would say it's a good day for Julius Randle. yesterday, day before. I don't know. I was trying to make it rhyme into the Ice Cube song either way, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Minnesota has a good team. I don't think they play consistent defense. That's my problem with them. I think
they're getting beat. I think they're getting beat. I think they advance.
I feel like they play opportune defense. They're like, well, maybe I'll try this time. You know,
and it's not terrible if you make it to the Final Four in the NBA, but they're just not.
Well, just
they're not advancing past that.
Well, just calm down over there, Colin Cowherd. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so that was you bring up a good point because earlier it was yesterday. Again, follow Sports Edit Nation wherever you get your social media because it was shared his 4 hot takes for the playoffs, and not one has has panned out. He said the Rockets would beat the Warriors. He said the Clippers would beat the Nuggets. Like he said the Lakers would beat the Wolves.
He said Joker's going to average 30-point triple-double and he's going to lose to the Clippers, you know.
And actually Jokic, honestly, which is crazy to say, he has not played like Jokic. He really hasn't. He's missing easy shots. I'm watching these games. It's not that he's playing poorly.
They should have closed him out yesterday. They had him on the ropes.
They did. Dude, they did. That was wild too.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
With the mothers in the stands, you cannot do that.
No.
On Mother's Day.
Not at all.
That was a bad look.
Gotta be a mother lover.
You know? Word to your mother. As Rob Van Winkle once said all these years ago.
He did. Robert Van Winkle. You know, what a guy.
Drop the 0 and get with the hero.
Yeah, Cool as Ice is a fantastic movie.
Bad, dude. Even the editing. Like if you go back and watch that movie, whoever edited that movie, it's so poorly done. It's like a public access movie, like PBS or something, where you don't get real editors. You just get a guy who like enjoys doing it, and they're paying him like half price to do it. That it's just so choppy and hilarious. So bad, dude.
Hey man, you got any of those coupons? You got any of those coupons laying around? Any of those buy one get one free hour editing coupons? Yeah. It's like a guy that works at one of those kiosks at the mall, like where you go and you perform a little like karaoke song and put on some outfits. You know, they're like, "Hey, can you come edit our movie? Like, Vanilla Ice is in it." It's like, sure.
Yeah, notoriety.
Is that scene like where he's like riding a motorcycle and she's on the horse? I think. Isn't that what's going on? And it's like in the middle. It's so stupid. Like, where did they film it?
It is.
They had to film it. Nah, it's like Idaho or Indiana or something. And then this cool as Ice, like right, like. So your idea was not. I've got this idea for this movie, and I need the perfect cast. It was, let's bring in Vanilla Ice and let's write a movie around him. What's the name of it? I don't know. How about Cool as Ice?
Cool, yeah.
Perfect.
Done. I'm in.
It couldn't just been like Untamed Love starring Vanilla Ice. Like, why did it have to be Cool as Ice? Like that was a total cash
Untamed
grab.
Love. I don't know if I'd be a fan of that either, but
hey, it could have been anything. Untamed Love sounds like a book my grandmother would read that was in like the grocery store out
with Fabio on the cover.
You know, for sure. You know,
all right. Sometimes
like a fireman outfit, like half, you know, have done like this, and it's like flames behind him, you know, and it's like,
don't look back.
It's not the house fire is not the only heat in my pants, you know, something like that.
In a world where
it's hot. In a world where Fabio exists on every cover of every book your grandmother reads.
From the makers of Untamed Heart is Cool as Ice.
From the makers of Cool as Ice comes Untamed Heart. Cool as Ice 2.
Part 2.
Yeah. Cool as Ice 2, Untamed Heart. The story continues.
here's the issue with derailing. We derail every show and it's fine. And I will say I'm a stud at getting us back. I'll admit I don't know where I was going. Like I really don't know what else we were talking about. Like, all right, we hit every NBA like series basically. So
let's talk about some other pitch ideas that didn't hit the cutting board. That it actually hit the cutting board for Vanilla Ice. What were some other movie ideas that Hollywood pitched to him? Because I mean, clearly there had to be more, right?
yeah,
Was there Cool as Ice Cream?
I think
that one?
over my cold dead body.
That was probably one. They probably had one where he's like working the concessions at like an ice rink, and he meets some girl. It's like she slips and she like hurts her ankle, and he like comes over to help her, and she's like, "Are you Vanilla Ice?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he says his iconic line again, "Won't you drop the zero and get with the hero?" That would be a great callback, you know.
Yeah.
So we should get Robert Van Winkle on the phone and see if he wants to be a guest, because he's probably not doing too much. Last time I saw, he was like bought some old Ninja Turtle costume or something, you know. But
I don't know if he'll answer. I don't know if he'll take that call.
one thing we can say, though, to get us back on track is in the wrestling world, the wrestling community lost a legend in his own right, Mr. Sabu, yesterday. If you are not a follower of wrestling, if you're just casual, you know, just kind of like you watched WCW back in the day or watched WWF, you're probably not too familiar with Extreme Championship Wrestling. It was originally at some point bought by, you know, Vince McMahon. A lot of stuff had been absorbed. Paul Heyman came from there. He was pretty much behind it. ECW, but Sabu was crazy. He did crazy stuff, and he was a legend, and he passed away at 60 years old. So
just yesterday, right?
Just yesterday. So shout out to that man, and shout out to Wrestling Idiot Nation. Of course, you're a wrestling fan. Be sure to give us a follow there. Man, Matt is over there doing his work.
The Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work.
Blessed by the Pope.
Blessed by Pope Leo. I bet Pope
Leo is a fan. That's a callback.
Pope Leo is probably a fan of Extreme Championship Wrestling, I'm sure.
Oh, anyone from Chicago, I mean,
he's probably a fan of New Jack. New Jack is Pope Leo's all-time favorite wrestler is probably New Jack.
It's so funny to me, again, to think of Pope being from here and understanding our American pop culture things, whereas the last, 89 popes, like, just would not only would they not be interested, they wouldn't understand, but it's just, I can't fathom.
How many popes have we had?
I don't know. But
is there is there a field of 64 now? Could we bracket this? We should.
But I'll tell you the big
madness.
Answer.
Pope madness.
The big answer is one. There's only been one pope from the United States.
So that means from here on out, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Now they all have to be.
If you ain't first, you last. If you ain't first, you last.
Just so you know, you could be walking around the next pope. You could. Right. How would you know?
You could have been at a baseball game with him. You could have been doing a
May 28th. I might be hanging with the Pope. How do you know?
Yeah, at least we don't have a video of the Pope doing one of those like hot dog straw beer things, because that is just like, what do you call that thing? I don't know.
You never know.
It has a name.
In the coming months, who knows what video leaks will be leaked?
First of all, who was the first guy that made that? Hold on, you know what? I know this is very unprofessional, but we are idiots. But I'm going to find out what the name of that is. Okay, hot dog straw beer name.
That sounds like, what in the Limp Biscuit are you looking up? Like the hot dog flavored water?
What is it called? There's a name for it.
All right. While you look that up, I will remind everyone to check out Sports Idiot Nation wherever you get your social media. Also, in the Idiot Verse, that's what we are calling it, you can find lots of other cool pop culture things like Wrestling Idiot Nation. Turtles Idiot Nation is, I believe.
That's what I was trying to think of. Glizzy. God.
The Glizzy. Okay. Glizzy Idiot Nation. We have Punk Idiot Nation.
Make sure you put an emphasis on the Glizzy Idiot Nation. Not just don't type the wrong letter. The G and the J are real close to each other. Just be very
That's
careful.
a different videos that will come up.
That is, if you're in the state of Tennessee, a lot of those videos are banned. Not that I know.
Yeah, if you're logging at work, don't don't look that one up.
Water here, man. I'm dying here, Adam.
Yeah, we got Gridiron, we got Hoops, we got wrestling, we got Turtles.
But let's go back to these Glizzies though for a second. There was one man, the first man. I'm going to assume it's a man. A woman is not stupid enough to do that. A man would do that first. Took a hot dog, hollowed it out, made it a straw, put it in his beer, drank his beer, threw the hot dog, ate the hot dog. There was one man who did that first. Why? What made him do it? I want to know.
Right.
I want to know. It's like the Hannibal Buress flaming Dr. Pepper joke, which I'm not going to tell the joke because it's a very long joke. But you should all of our viewers should go on YouTube and Google it because it is hilarious. And it made me fall in love with Hannibal Buress. First time I saw him open up for Aziz Ansari when he was still a writer for SNL. And he hadn't, Bill Cosby stuff hadn't happened. He hadn't grown up yet and all that. He was
sports,
fantastic.
comedy, pop culture, and everything in between.
So
By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
I was like, it's a genius joke. I was like, because there's the first person who invented the flaming Dr. Pepper. Like, why? Why did you want to do that? And like as Hannibal Buress said, you don't just nail that on the first try. Like, no, like you are dedicated, and
you singed off your eyebrows probably. Like,
his joke is brilliant, So anyway, it's like the Glizzy. I want to know why that guy, the first person, did it. I want to find that person, first Glizzy, and get him on this show as a guest. Glizzy guest, first Glizzy guest.
Glizzy guest. That's what we'll say on our
That's what the episode will be. The Glizzy guest.
Speaking of stand-up comedy, who was?
Hold on. I think I got it.
What?
Cool as Ice 3, the Glizzy guest. I figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot to just tell you to make sure you follow us.
Discontinued the podcast.
YouTube. Yeah. But no.
Episode 82 was our last one ever, folks. Hope you enjoyed it.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Cool as Ice 4. There's more.
And it's coming this week.
So
we will see you Thursday.
Drop the 0, get with the hero.
Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.